Welcome back to the Patriot League Swimming and Diving Championship. Time for the first of 4 diving events at the 2020 Championships. We expect another strong performance from last year's 3-meter champ, Hannah Montow from Navy, who won it as a freshman. Really an impressive start to her diving career at the Academy. Montow on the end on the right side, and she finished the prelims with the top score this afternoon with a 300.20 score, so she will dive last. It will go reverse order. Navy with 3 representatives, as you see. The others joining Montow is Megan Gertis, who could upset her teammate. Gertis actually had a higher score heading into this event on the site sheet, but Montow put together the highest score at a 300. Gertis, who's being recognized right now, is 284. So Montow, the top seed, we'll take a look at her dives here earlier today. Just so good, so smooth. Sophomore and a Maryland native. She's really impressed Navy. Took home the gold last year with a 3-meter total score of 321.60, which set a meet record. Local product from Germantown, Maryland, attended a powerhouse program at Seneca Valley. Her parents able to make it to almost every single one of her meets. So certainly excited to see Hannah dive along with the other 7 divers, and it will start with Elena Schumann from Bucknell University. So the top 8 divers here will compete for 3 medals. They were doing their prelims earlier this afternoon. You can hear parents, family, friends, and coaches and teammates cheer. And now it's the top 8, as Navy and Army each have a gold so far. Army taking home the women 200-yard medley gold, and then Navy taking home the 200-yard medley on the men's side. Other swimmers warming up here inside Lejeune Hall in Annapolis, Maryland. Getting ready for the 800 freestyle relay, which will be the final competition of today. And then a full slate of action tomorrow, Friday, and then wraps everything up on Saturday. So the divers getting warmed up a bit after watching their counterparts on the other side of the pool race the 200 yards. So we got some warm-ups here on the left side of Lejeune Hall, as you see a pair of divers going. You have the 3-meter dive, the 1-meter dive for both sides. Well, one of 4 diving events we'll have here at the Patriot League Championships. It will be really interesting to see how Montow and Gertis fare this afternoon. Montow with the best score at 300.20, Gertis at 284.90, and then you have Army's Sarkia Halstead at 280.50, and then Caroline Turner to wrap up the quartet of Naval Academy representatives at 278.25. Take a peek at what Hannah Montow did last year, and she just won. She was just fantastic, looking to defend her title here in 2020 with, of course, that meet record-breaking score. She has been racking up the accolades. Last year was named Patriot League Diver of the Week 5 times, and she has been sensational. Qualified for the NCAA Zone A Diving Championship, and now will look to continue her defense here and win back-to-back 3-meter diving golds. This time, though, in her home pool and on her home board. Last year's championships were in Bucknell, or Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. So the divers finishing up their warm-ups here on the Patriot League Network. All the action coming to you on the network and on Stadium. Take a look at some of the other participants in this diving competition. For Boston University, Kate Russack will be there. She's a sophomore from Old Greenwich, Connecticut. She finished 6th in both the 3-meter and the 1-meter dive and the championship, so looking to improve on her score as well. You have Megan Fennell from Lehigh, a junior from Washington, D.C., finished top 5 last season on both boards. You have Caroline Turner, as I mentioned, a sophomore from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, recognized on the second team All-Patriot League last year after reaching the championship final on both boards. And then Schumann, of course, as well, from Bucknell University. She will get things started. Junior from Ambler, PA, entered this year, earning Bucknell's 3rd best score on the 3-meter board at 266.35. Her score here this afternoon in the prelims was 217.90, so certainly can build upon it. It looks like we're almost ready to go here to start the 3-meter women's diving event. And much slower pace, perhaps. The races earlier, everybody screaming and really excited, and lasted a little over a minute and a half on the men's side. Army and Navy both taking gold, and you have Boston U, Loyola also earning some medals as we get the Patriot League Championship started. Again, it will be Helena Schumann to start things off when we're ready here inside Lejeune Hall. Looks like Schumann is ready on the board. Having a laugh. It's really cool to see here inside Lejeune Hall. Everybody smiling. Everybody obviously wants to win and have a good time. But the friendly competition among swimmers and divers, very, very adamant and very prevalent here. As you can see, the pair of Bison getting ready on the boards. Helena Schumann, again, will start things off. And then she will be followed by teammate Paige Shelkoff. So back-to-back Bucknell Bison will get things started here for the 3-meter. So Schumann will toe the board. Her dive will be a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.3. Of course, we will have 6 rounds going for this event. Shelkoff's first dive in the books. Up next will be, as I mentioned, Bucknell's other swimmer, or diver, I should say. Shelkoff. Shelkoff, a senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, owns Bucknell's 2nd best score on the 3-meter dive. Inward 1.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.1. Shelkoff getting a 37.8 for her first round score. That brings up Megan Fennell. Fennell from Lehigh, doing a backwards 1.5 somersault and 1.5 free twist. Degree of difficulty 2.4. Junior from Washington, D.C. looked good in that dive. Fennell getting a 46.80 as we take a look at it again. So good showing there from the Lehigh Hawk. Junior from D.C. Now it's Kate Russack from Boston. Forward 2.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.4. Russack with a good dive, 46.8 the score. Take a look again. Russack, a sophomore from Connecticut. Now it's Caroline Turner from Navy. 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.7. A handful of mids in this competition. 3 of the top 4, in fact, starting with Turner. Turner with a 44.55 score. And that brings up Halstead from the Army. Serica Halstead doing a 2.5 somersault pike. A round of applause here inside Lejeune Hall. Degree of difficulty 2.4 for Halstead. 50.40. Really good score there. And take another look. That was pretty. So here comes Megan Gertis for Navy. Second highest score. Will attempt a 2.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.4. See Montow giving her teammate a round of applause as Gertis completes her first dive, gets a 43.20 score. Here is Montow, the defending champion. 2.4 difficulty, 2.5 somersault pike. Looks like she got off to a good start. Take a look at it again. Montow getting a 50.4 on the scoreboard, and that completes the first round of dives here in the 3-meter. So now we go back to Elena Schumann. This will be her second dive. 1.5 somersault pike. 2.2 degree difficulty. Schumann getting out of the pool after her second dive. 33 the score. Here is Shelkoff, the other Bison. Finished 13th on the 3-meter last year in the PLC. Has been one of the best divers for the Bison since joining the program in 2016. Majoring in neuroscience, doing a 2 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.4. Score 32.4 for the Bison. Here's Megan Fennell. Fennell from DC was the 2018 Patriot League Female Diver of the Meet as she took first in the 1-meter and third in the 3-meter. Just attempted a 2.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. 37.2 the score. Taking another look. That brings up Kate Rusek from Boston University. Posted the third best score on the 3-meter with a 292.4 mark heading into this. Just completed a 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.8, one of the highest degrees of difficulty. Gets a 33.6. Here is Turner, second turn, the sophomore from Phoenixville, PA for Navy. 2.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Take another look. Getting 49.2, a good round there by Turner. Here is Serica Halstead from the Army. Halstead, senior from New York, Army's top diver last year, got a good one. Good rotation there. 51.8 the score. There's Megan Gertis, her second dive. Gertis got a 43.2 her first dive. It's expected that Gertis and Montow will finish 1-2, with Montow finishing with the gold. 3.0 degree difficulty for Gertis on a 2.5 somersault and a 1 twist pike. Waiting for the score for Gertis as Montow, the defending champion, awaits. Gertis gets a 39 on her second dive. Here's Montow. 3.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.8. Montow again showing why she is one of the best in the Patriot League. Montow getting a 54.6. That puts her in the lead. She has a score of 105 through the first 2 dives. Take another look. So we go to the third round, halfway home here for the 3-meter. Schumann up again for the Bison. Degree of difficulty 2.0 on the 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist free. Getting a 31 for her third dive. Here's Shelkoff from Bucknell as well, has a score of 70.20. This dive, 1.5 somersault straight, 2.4 degree difficulty. Starts from the backwards position. Gets a 40.80 on her third dive. That brings up Megan Fennell from Lehigh, an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Fennell, Lehigh's female diver of the year this past year. School record holder in both the 1-meter and 3-meter. 2.1 degree of difficulty on that dive. Taking another look here for Fennell. That brings up Kate Russack of Boston University. She has a score of 80.40. Trying a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.3. Russack getting a 41.40 score on her third dive. Here's Caroline Turner, one of 3 Naval Academy representatives. Turner with a forward 3.5 somersault tuck. 2.8 degree of difficulty. Gets a 49, one of her highest scoring dives of the night. So here comes Halstead. Halstead from Army, named to the Academic All-Patriot League, All-Patriot League second team, and Google Cloud Academic All-District first team with a good dive there. A 2.5 somersault tuck reverse, 2.8 degree difficulty. Halstead getting a 57.40. She skyrockets up towards the top. Here is Megan Gertis. Has a score of 82.20 through 2 dives. We'll try an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.7 degree difficulty. A good showing there by Megan Gertis. Gertis very good on the board and in the classroom. Has earned honors in 4 terms, 3 times on the superintendent's list here at Navy. Gets a 55-35 score. And here's Hannah Montow, who has 105 points in 2 dives. Will attempt a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. This will wrap up our third round of diving. Montow just seems so poised. 57.40 the score for the defending champ. So we go to round 4 of the 3 meters. Schumann at 91.6. We'll try an inward 1.5 somersault pike. 2.1 degree difficulty. Schumann scored 10 points last year in the Patriot League Championship and also took home an individual event win. Gets a 37.80 score here. Up next, Paige Shelkoff from Bucknell. Wasting no time on a 2.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. Has 111 points going into that dive. Got an even 42. She's up to 153. So here is Fennell. Fennell with 121 2.80 on the scoreboard. We'll try an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.7 degree of difficulty. Up next is Russak, named the Patriot League Diver of the Week earlier this year on January the 29th. Finished 6th in both the 3-meter and the 1-meter dive last year at the Patriot League Championships. We'll try an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Russak at 121.80. Awaiting her score as she exits the pool. It's a 40.95. So here's Caroline Turner. Backwards 2.5 somersault tuck for this round, 2.8 degree of difficulty. Turner with a good dive there, getting 50.40 from the judges. Just under 200 points now for Turner, and here is Halstead. Halstead, the 2.5 somersault tuck backwards dive, 2.8 degree difficulty. So here is Halstead at 61.60. Fantastic dive for Halstead, as it's now Gertis who is up. Gertis with a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree of difficulty. Her and Montau going back and forth. Montau towing the board here as we take a look for Gertis. Another good dive, 58.80. Montau with the reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Of course, Montau with the highest score earlier today at 300. As we go to the 5th round, we have 2 more rounds. It will be Elena Schumann right now. Inward 2 somersault tuck, a 2.4 degree difficulty. Just under 130 points here for Schumann. .40 the score for Schumann. The 8th diver here, you can tell, not thrilled with the result. Here's Shelkoff. Reverse 1.5 somersault pike. 2.3 degree of difficulty. .41 the score for Shelkoff. Here's Fennell again. Fennell just under 160 points. Will attempt a backwards dive pike. Degree difficulty 1.8. Russak will be up next as we see the dive here. She gets a 31.5, does Fennell. Russak will attempt an inward 2 somersault tuck, 2.4 degree difficulty. Russak trying to keep pace to try and get a bronze. That dive will help. 40.8 the score. She's up to 203. 10 points better than Caroline Turner right now at 193. Turner will attempt a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.8 degree difficulty, one of the higher dives we've seen. Looked good. Turner just a sophomore too, so you have Turner and Montow sophomores, and Turner gets a 53.2. Turner, also a musician, plays piano and oboe. As we have Serica Halstead. Halstead a backwards 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist free, and she lands into the pool. A lot of action in that dive. 2.4 degree difficulty. She gets a 38.4. Here is Gertis at 196.3. A reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.8 degree difficulty. Made it look a lot easier. Gertis waiting to get her scores. 61.60, one of the highest scores we've seen. As you see the beautiful finish there by Gertis. Here's the defending champ, Hannah Montow. 2.7 degree difficulty, an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. She's leading the pack right now with a 219.8 score. And it looks like another clean dive for Montow. .54 even for Montow. So we go to the final standings, or final round, I should say, for the 3-meter diving competition. And it's Schumann with a forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree of difficulty. So we'll see what Schumann finish was here. 43.2 the score on her final dive. Schumann cheering on her teammate Paige Shelkoff, as you see. Shelkoff will do a backwards 1.5 somersault and a 1.5 free twist. 2.4 degree of difficulty. See the camaraderie between the pair of Bison and Schumann and Shelkoff. Here's Megan Fennell from Lehigh. 2.3 degree difficulty with her final dive, a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Fennell, an all-Patriot League second team member last year, gets a 36.8 on her final dive. That brings up Russack from the Terriers. In high school, broke the Greenwich 1 meter, 6 meter, and 11 meter diving records. Tries for a backwards 1.5 somersault and 1.5 twist free. Maybe one of her better dives of the day. Russack gets a 50.4. Finishes with a score just over 253, and here is Caroline Turner. Forward 1.5 somersault, 2 twists. And the sophomore probably learning a thing or two from fellow sophomore Hannah Montow, as that was another good dive for Turner. Turner getting a 53.75. There's Halstead, an inward 2.5 somersault pike, an even 3 on the degree of difficulty. She hits this one, she might be able to leap in the standings. Final 2 divers with the mids as we take another look at Halstead's dive. So here's Gertis, backwards 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. Degree of difficulty 2.8. And second right now at 257. Great dive. You see Montow cheering on her teammate. $58.80 the score for Gertis. Gives her a final 316.75. Montow at 273. Forward 1.5 somersault, 2 free twists, 2.5 degree difficulty for the gold. Take a look at Montow's final dive. 52.50. Montow and Gertis putting on a show here for Navy.
Congratulations to all of our championship divers. The award ceremony for the Ivy will be presented tomorrow.
We will find out the award ceremony will be tomorrow for the women's 3-meter. We assume it will be Montow taking gold, as Navy had 3 representatives in the top 4. Montow, Gertis, and Caroline Turner. Really impressive stuff here by the mids. Montow talking it over with Halstead, rivals in the pool. And Montow getting some congratulatory handshakes here inside Lejeune Hall with a big smile. And Montow smiles and should be. She has had a fantastic career here with Navy, and it's really just getting started. Mentioned local product. And Montow, who posted a 375 score earlier this year. Fantastic. And we'll take a quick break. Up next, the 800 freestyle relays, the final 2 events here of day 1 of the Patriot League Championships right here on the Patriot League Network on Stadium. Lance Christopher will be the first diver. He made the cut at 8, a freshman from Navy. Nathan Barr, another freshman from the mids, will be the second diver. He finished with a 253 score. So 2 mids to start, 2 mids in the middle, then 2 mids at the top. 6 of the 8 top qualifiers representing Navy here this evening. One of the lone non-representatives, Garrett Summer, as you see right there, being introduced on the block, the junior from Bucknell. Summer, junior from York, PA, leaning on the railing, waiting now, as it will be Hunter Siebert, the sophomore, making his Patriot League Championship debut. He is joined by junior Jake Hedrick. Hedrick, the 4 seed here in the 1-meter dive. Hedrick from Pennsylvania, studying robotics and control engineering here at Navy. He will be the 4th seed. Sophomore for Army is Danny Alamo. He had an A cut earlier today. 310.65 the score for Alamo. Alamo, the only other representative not with a Navy logo on his chest. Patrick Carter, the junior for the U.S. Navy, also an A-cut finalist earlier today. A 322.40 score during the trials. And then the favorite, and by a landslide, the senior from Navy, Bradley Buchter. Buchter has been absolutely sensational since joining the program. 3-time Patriot League Diver of the Year. Looks to run away with this gold here this evening in the 1-meter dive. Take a look at what Brad did earlier this afternoon. You can just see how much height he gets off the 1-meter board. So quick on the somersaults, and a minimal splash, and hence why he's got a score in the 400s. Just taking a look at it, his seeding score was 440. Didn't dive that well today, but nonetheless, still in the 400s for Buchter. The 3-time Patriot League Diver of the Year, studying information technology here on the Academy. Now let's take a peek at what he did last year to take home the gold at Bucknell. 6 for 6 in the Patriot League diving finals heading into today. Just so good, so smooth. And he looks to continue his dominance here on the 1-meter board, as well as the 3-meter board later in the championship week. So Buchter, the favorite, he will be the last diver earning the highest score. 6 of 8 divers from Navy. So the first dive in for today, Lance Christopher, who did a forward 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 2.6, as they are taking up their warm-ups. That will be the first dive for Christopher, as the divers get a few stretches on the 1-meter board. Again, it goes in reverse order of how they ranked in the trials earlier today. So it'll be Lance Christopher, who finished 8th, to go first at 2:43.35, and work your way up to the 4 8-cut qualifiers in Buchter, Carter, Alamo, and Hedrick. Fantastic event here inside Lejeune Hall, one of the premier swimming facilities in the entire Patriot League, and you can argue across the country here on this country's Naval Academy. Glad that we can bring you all the action right here on the Patriot League Network on Stadium. Corey Naito here, along with our entire production crew, led by Jimmy Johnson. It has been a blast so far through a day and a half, and we have 2 more events. We have the 1-meter board, as we mentioned, and then to wrap things up, the 400 medley relay final, which will conclude day 2 of the championship final, and then we have 2 more days tomorrow and Saturday. Now, divers finishing up their warm-up dives here inside Lejeune Hall. The top 8 divers will compete for 3 medals. Try to knock off what seems to be nearly impossible, the Bradley Buchter, who has been so good for so long for Navy. The senior just understands what he needs to do to be a consistent gold medalist, and the scores certainly tell the story. Divers taking their time, sporting tie-dye towels on the pool deck. Navy's almost entire team in the finals, it feels like. Getting his set for the 1-meter. Of course, Navy took home the 3-meter gold on the women's side with Hannah Montow, who set a new meet record last night with a 3:28 and change score. So Montow trying to follow suit of Buchter's dominance on the female side. Montow now back-to-back gold medalist in the diving competitions for Navy, and Buchter a perfect 6 for 6 in his final Patriot League Championship events. Wrapping up the diving practices here for the 1-meter. You see the 3-meter boards just to the right. The men and women will flip-flop. The women will be on the 1-meter, and then the men will finish off on that 3-meter board later in the week. The event still happening here inside Lejeune Hall. Navy continuing its dominance overall in the tournament. They swept golds, it seemed, in every race except that 50-yard freestyle, as it went to Jimmy Hayburn, the sophomore of Loyola, to knock off Josh Zock. Zock, of course, the only racer to finish under 19 seconds until tonight. Jimmy Hayburn did it. So that was a thrilling finish for the 50 freestyle, and we're hoping for a thrilling finish in the 400 medley relays as well later this evening. The divers working on their practices here. Summer is on the board right now, the product from Bucknell. And that is his first dive of the first round, a inward 1.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 2.4. And he gets a 42 to start his night. Up next, Hunter Siebert, doing a forward 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 2.6. Siebert of the Naval Academy, earning a 48.10 score, product of Lake Smyrna, Georgia, in his sophomore year. Here's Hedrick, performing an inward 1.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 2.4. Hedrick, a junior from Pennsylvania, off the board and looked good. Earned second team All Patriot League honors in 2018 and 2019. Gets a 54 to start his night. So here comes Daniel Alamo. Alamo from West Point, sophomore from West Nyack, New York. Named last year's All-Patriot second team. A backwards 1.5 somersault, including a 1.5 free twist. Alamo getting a round of applause from his teammates. Army nestled off the block. 51-25 the score as we take another look. Here's Carter. Forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6 degree difficulty. Carter from New York. Dove and also played in soccer in high school. Take a look there. That very athletic diver with a fantastic showing. And here comes Bradley Buchter, the favorite. 3.1 degree difficulty, an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. The first dive above a 3.0 degree of difficulty. And Bradley Buchter showing why he's the 3-time Patriot League Diver of the Year. Take another look at it. 2.5 somersaults, gets a 72.85 for his first round. Here we go to round two with Lance Christopher, who scored a 44.20 his first dive. Now we'll attempt a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. 2.3 degree difficulty. Taking another look at Christopher's dive. Freshman from Lambertville, New Jersey, making his Patriot League Championship debut. There's Nathan Barr. Barr will try a backwards 1.5 somersault with a 1.5 free twist. Degree of difficulty 2.5. Freshman from Fishers, Indianapolis, making his debut for the Mids in the Patriot League Championship. Good rotation on the twist. So here comes Garrett Summer. An inward 2 somersault tuck, a degree difficulty of 2.8. On the higher degree of difficulty dives so far. Got a 42 in his first dive. And Summer, the junior from York, PA, with another good dive in the second round. Earns a 50.40. Take a look again, the 2 somersaults there by Summer. Started his career as a strong contributor for Bucknell and continues to do so here. Here's Hunter Siebert, a backwards 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Take another look. Extension there, gets an even 46 for his second dive of the night. Here comes Hedrick of Navy. Hedrick got a 94.10 his first dive. You can really see the difference in scores. We'll try an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. 3.1 degree of difficulty. Got it. The score's just increasing significantly as we get towards the top of the divers. Here's Daniel Alamo now for Army. Alamo in his second dive will perform a backwards 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Alamo, one of the Black Knights' top male divers during his freshman campaign last year, was the lone male to qualify for NCAA Zone A diving championships. At a 51.25 his first dive, gets a 49.45 here in round 2 to give him a score of just over 100. Here's Patrick Carter. Carter with a 58.50 in his first dive. A forward 3.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty an even 3. Take another peek. 3.5 tucks, and he gets an even 48. Here's Bradley Buchter, the favorite. Buchter, degree difficulty 2.6 with a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Buchter credits his dad for getting him in diving at an early age. His mom and dad coaching him throughout him and his sister's adolescence. And Buchter with another fantastic dive, getting a 54.60, and through 2 dives, leading the way with 127.45. We start the midway round. Round number 3, Lance Christopher. A reverse 1.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.1 for the Navy midshipman. 28.35 the score for Christopher. And here comes Nathan Barr. Degree difficulty an even 2 for a backwards 1.5 somersault tuck. Had a top 10 score in this event last year. Now trying to continue it here. Gets a 24. Not one of his better dives. I'm sure that score will be omitted. Here comes Summer. From Bucknell, the Bison will attempt a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.4. And Summer continuing his strong showing for the Bison. Studying chemical engineering is Summer. Junior from York, PA, owns Bucknell's 7th best 1 meter dive at 268.35. Had a good dive right there. Here's Siebert of Navy. Reverse 1.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.1. Take another look at it for Siebert. He gets a 36.75. Here's Hedrick. A forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6 degree difficulty. Hedrick earned silver last year in this event and bronze in the 3 meter a year ago. Beautiful dive there by the junior. Able to compete in the NCAA Zone Championship last year. 57-20 the score for Hedrick. He right now is in the lead, but you still have a couple of more divers to go ahead of him. It will be Alamo. 3.0 degree difficulty for a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Beautiful for the West Point product. Last year he set a personal record in this event with a 396.40 score. Gets a even 54 there. Here's Patrick Carter, the second seeded diver. 3.0 degree difficulty, a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck. And a good dive there by Carter. .54 the score for Patrick Carter. The favorite Bradley Buchter leading the pack. He can after this dive. A 3.2 degree difficulty and another great dive with a forward 2.5 somersault with a full turn pike. 76.80, getting 7.5s and 8s all across the board with a pair of 8.5s. So Buchter, as you take another look how much he gets off that board. The bottom of the board hits the water. Unbelievable what Buchter can do, and he's in the lead. We begin round 4 with Christopher. An inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 3.1 degree difficulty. Carter from West Islip, New York. Has earned academic honors in 4 semesters, so does it both on the boards and in the classroom. Here's Nathan Barr. A reverse 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.1 degree difficulty. Gets the 1.5 somersault there, gets a 22.05. Here is Garrett Summer. Summer with a score of 136.80. 2.6 degree of difficulty with a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Good looking dive again by Summer, who has been impressive during his career with the Bison. Here comes Hunter Sieber as we await the score for Summer. Has 136.80 right now through 3 dives. Gets 48.10 in his 4th round dive. So Siebert is now the diver. 130.85 the score for the mid. Hails from Georgia. Team won its county title in high school in 2018 and performed an inward 1.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. 46.80 on that dive for Siebert. Here comes Jake Hedrick. Hedrick at 173.20. One of the 4 divers to earn an 8 cut time in the preliminaries earlier today. A reverse 2.5 somersault tuck there for Hedrick. An even 3 degree difficulty, and it was a good one. He too gets that bounce like Booker. And he gets a 55.50 score, and that brings up Daniel Alamo. Alamo from West Point will attempt a forward 1.5 somersault with 2 free twists. What a dive by Alamo. Alamo, the best diver for West Point, showing why. 54.60 the score. There's Patrick Carter now. For the Navy, we'll try a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. An even 3 degree difficulty. And another good dive there by Patrick Carter. Take another look for Carter, who earns a 55.50 score for his 4th dive. Again, there's 6 dives in this event. Bradley Buchter closes out each round. He will try a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 3.0. There it is. Divers clapping behind the boards, showing their appreciation for Buchter. who actually said his mom, who was a gymnast in college, actually helps him and his sister. His sister dove at Virginia Tech, helping them get in shape and also kind of incorporate the body movements for the twists in the dives. We begin round number 5 with Lance Christopher, a forward 1.5 somersault with 2 free twists. Degree difficulty 2.6 for Christopher. Gets a 50-70 score. Gets a pair of 7s from 2 judges. Here comes Nathan Barr, a forward 1.5 somersault with 1 free twist. Degree of difficulty 2.2, so on the lower edge of that scale, but he nailed it pretty well. 47-30 the score. A couple of 7.5s there for Barr. Here's Garrett Summer from Bucknell, having a good outing. We'll try a backwards 1 somersault with 2.5 twists. Has a score of 184.90, ups the degree difficulty to 2.7. Summer awaits his score. And he gets a 40-50 on that dive. Not one of his better dives so far of the day. Here's Hunter Siebert. 2.1 degree difficulty with a backwards 1.5 somersault and a half twist. He has a 177.65 score. As Navy has 6 of 8 competitors here in the 1 meter dive. 42 on the even score, getting 3 7s on that dive. Here's Hedrick. 2.6 degree difficulty, a reverse 1.5 somersault with 1.5 twists. Good looking dive there by Hedrick, who's looking to at least earn silver like he did a year ago in this event. Also took home bronze in the 3 meter. 55.90 the score for Hedrick. Go to Daniel Alemo. Score of 209.30 through 4 dives. We'll try a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.6. So Alemo putting together a strong case for bronze at the moment. Getting a 50.70, getting 2 7s from the judges. Here comes Patrick Carter. Degree difficulty 3.1 on this inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Carter taking his time. Carter getting out of the pool, looking for his time, or his point total, I should say. 3.1 degree difficulty, gets a 66.65. 3 7.5s from the 7 judges that will be grading these dives. Here is Buchter, another 3.0 degree difficulty, a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck. The rotation he gets on those tucks, so impressive. Scored over 400 in the prelims. He is certainly on pace to do that here in the finals, getting 63 on that dive. He is now at 336.25 and the leader, as expected. Final dives for the top 8 divers, starting with Christopher. 2.5 degree difficulty, backwards 1.5 somersault with a 1.5 twist. Good finish there for Christopher. Getting an even 50 score on his final dive. Here's Nathan Barr. 2.6 degree difficulty on a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Another look there. Gets a 45.50 for his final dive. Here is Summer. Looking to beat his personal score here. Has a 225.40. Degree difficulty 2.3 on a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. And Summer finishes off his final dive here inside Lejeune Hall. Gets a 43.70 for a final of 269.10. And that will surpass his best, which is 7th best in 1 meter dive for Bucknell. That was a 268.35 mark entering today's final. Here's Hunter Siebert. A backwards 1.5 somersault and 1.5 twist. 2.5 degree difficulty. Take a look again. 48.75 your score. Majority of 6.5s on that dive. Here comes Jake Hedrick. Backwards 1.5 somersault pike. 2.3 degree difficulty. Hedrick with his final dive. Competing in his 3rd Patriot League competition, or championship, I should say. Able to get in a 44.85 on that last dive, a pair of 7s for the 7-judge panel. Here's Alemo. Alemo set a personal record last year in this event with a score of 396.40. Currently at 260 with an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. His hardest dive of the night. 3.1 difficulty, and it was a good one. .62 even. Won't beat his personal best, but does finish at 322. Here comes Patrick Carter on the higher degree of difficulty dives we have seen at 3.2. A forward 2.5 somersault with 1 pike twist. Good finish there for Carter. Carter getting a 62.40. 2 7s on the board from the judges. And here is Bradley Buchter looking to win gold again and improve to 7-7 in diving competitions in the Patriot League Championships. And Buchter finishes his night off with a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck and even 3 degree difficulty. Gets a 48 on his final dive. So Buchter looking on. Not too happy with himself on that final dive, but does take home the gold in the 1 meter at 384.25. Buchter once again takes home another gold for the Navy mids here today, as Buchter getting some congratulatory handshakes. Bradley Buchter taking home gold as expected here for Navy. And we will be back for the final event. It's the 400 medley relay for the men and women right here on the Patriot League Network. Getting you set for the 1 meter female diving finals here inside Lejeune Hall. As we have the divers being announced. Megan Fennell from Lehigh will dive first. She finished with a score of 238.30 in the prelims. For Colgate, your junior Caroline LaPlante, 2-time finalist, had a prelim score of 241.50. Kate Russack, the sophomore from BU, will be the 3rd diver here in the 1 meter, the 244.15. All giggles as she's being introduced. So another Boston Terrier for BU with a score of 251.65, making her debut. Emily Balacanta. Big wave and smile there for the BU product. She finished with the 251.65 prelim. And three of the top four divers are midshipmen. Caroline Turner will be the fourth top diver, 263.85. And she is competing in the 1 meter as well as she did in the 3 meter.
3-meter champion 2018 for naming Megan Curtis.
Megan Gertis being announced as well. Gertis earned silver in the 3 meter back on Wednesday. She is ranked as the third best diver with an A-cut score of 265.35 earlier today. Serica Halstead representing the Black Knights, the senior. Bronzed in the 3 meter dives on Wednesday. She's looking to take down the defending champ, Hannah Montow, the sophomore from Navy, with an A-cut score of an even 292. And she looks to go a perfect 2 for 2 in the diving events here in 2020. Took home the gold with an A-cut score and obliterating the meet score of 326.30, surpassing the 308.05 mark put up by Colgate's Kim Pilka back in 2011. So the divers take off their jackets, get ready. We'll have a couple of practice dives to warm up. Let's take a look at Montow and her efforts from a year ago. Montow looking to defend both of her titles. She did so in the 3 meter earlier this week, now looking to go a perfect 2 for 2 here in 2020. She looks to earn gold in the 1 meter. Navy sophomore, so good on both boards. As part of a tribute to former diving coach here at Navy, Joe Soriano. So we had a moment of silence for Soriano, a 4-time Patriot League Coach of the Year. Coached 27 Patriot League champions during his 35-year tenure, as Soriano was instrumental for the MIDS diving program. You see some of the divers making their practice dives here in the pool. It's nestled just to the left of the competition pool. Montow, the favorite for Navy, expected to go 2 for 2 in the gold. We'll have some competition. The prelims, Serica Halstead, the senior of Army, made it rather close at a 276.95 mark. Hannah Montow still cleared it at 292. Take a look at that awesome tribute we just alluded to for longtime diving coach Joe Soriano. A synchronized dive from the MIDS. An absolute thing of beauty. There is Montow. She was on the higher tower. All smiles, talking to a teammate. Montow has just been so good so early in her career. Really has started to turn heads. So Montow and the rest of the divers will continue their warm-ups. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the 2020 championships on the Patriot League Network. Welcome back inside Lejeune Hall. Great vantage point. Near the diving boards, you see some swimmers getting loose. Final racing event of the night here in day 3 will be the 200 freestyle relay for both men and women. But right now we are getting ready for the 1 meter diving finals for the women. Hannah Montow on your left, the defending gold medalist, chatting it up, keeping things loose, as Montow will look to duplicate a gold in the 1 meter as she did last year and sweep the golds in both women diving events here in 2020. Again, we go in reverse order from the scores from earlier today. Top 8 divers making it, starting with Megan Fennell, the junior from Lehigh, who will be the first diver as we get you set here for the 1 meter. Some Boston Terriers getting a first row seat around the diving pool, using some towels as cushions. The Terriers have a pair of divers, so certainly they are interested as we get ready for Megan Fennell's first dive. Degree difficulty 2.1, a backwards 1.5 somersault with a half twist. Six rounds of diving here for the 1 meter, as it is for all events. And Megan Fennell, the Mountain Hawk, finishes her first dive with a score of 40.95. So here comes Caroline LaPlante. LaPlante will attempt a forward 1.5 somersault with 1 twist. 2.2 degree difficulty. LaPlante from Maryland, a junior, studying environmental studies and biology, gets a 40.70 score. And take a look again. Solid entry. Here's Kate Russack, one of the 2 Terriers being cheered on. Attempted a forward 2 somersault pike, degree difficulty 2.3. Russack getting a 42.55 score for her first try. Take a look at that from the sophomore from Old Greenwich, Connecticut. Here is Emily Balacanta, a forward 2 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Another Terrier gets a score of 33.35. Now it's Caroline Turner's turn, a sophomore from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.4. Good start there for Turner. Last year reached the championship final in both boards for the Patriot League championships. Placed 3rd in the 3 meter, 5th in the 1 meter, so looking to improve on her performance here today. Here's Megan Gertis, another mid, attempting a forward 2 somersault pike. 2.3 degree difficulty for Gertis. Gertis, a junior from Spring, Texas. Another look at it. 43.70, her first score. Here is Serica Halstead from Army, attempting a forward 2 somersault pike. Looked pretty good. Degree difficulty 2.3. Halstead, fantastic on the boards and in the classroom. You look at her accolades, it's just littered with academic achievements. 2018-19 Google Cloud Academic All-District First Team, All-Academic Patriot League, and so on. And there's Hannah Montow, the defending champ, with a forward 1.5 somersault twist. Degree difficulty 2.2. And she gets a 45.10 for her first round dive. So we begin round 2 with Megan Fennell. Fennell with a 40.95 her first dive. A forward 2.5 somersault. 2019 Female Diver of the Year for the Mountain Hawks. Gets a 39.60 score in round 2, just a little lower than her first dive of the night. Caroline LaPlante from Colgate now steps up. A reverse 1.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.1. Team MVP for the Raiders back in 2017-18 was LaPlante. Taking another look at her dive. Here comes Kate Russack, Boston U, forward 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.4 degree difficulty for the sophomore. Was named Diver of the Week back on January the 29th of 2019. Here's Emily Balacanta from Boston U. A forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.6 degree difficulty and another look. 42.90 for her second round dive. Here's Turner for the second time. Forward 2 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Got a 48 her first dive. Operations research major. Completes her second dive and gets a 39-10 for her second round. Here's Megan Gertis. Gertis earned first team All Patriot League honors in 2018 and second team laurels in 2019. A forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.6 degree difficulty. Last year placed second behind her teammate Hannah Montow, earning silver in both boards at the championships. Here is Serica Halstead, the Black Knight. Forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6 degree difficulty. .42.55 on her initial dive. Second dive looked good as well. .54.60. One of the highest scoring dives so far in the early stages. Here's Hannah Montow. Forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6 degree difficulty. '19 Patriot League Diver of the Year, looking for another gold. Take another look here at Montow's second dive. 45.10 her first attempt. And she gets a 57.20 here on the second dive. So her and Halstead with upper 50s for their second round dive. And now we go back to Megan Fennell for round 3. An inward 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.4. Fennell was the 2018 Patriot League Female Diver of the Year, as she gets a 43.20 on her third dive. Fennell, a very decorated diver in her junior year for Lehigh, gives way to Caroline LaPlante of Colgate, attempting an inward 1.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. Good dive there by the junior of Colgate. Take another look. Two-sport athlete in high school, also was in gymnastics, so using her athleticism on the diving boards as we move to Kate Russack, trying a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.3. Won this event as a freshman last year against Lehigh and Northeastern. Patriot League championships. She finished 6th last year with a 227.30 score. Here's Emily Balacanta, the other Terrier, attempting a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.3. Take another look at Balacanta, who broke the school record in high school for the 6 and 11 meter dives. Caroline Turner now up for the Navy, a forward 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.4, and a good looking dive by Turner. Another look at it, earning a 46.80 score in her third dive of the night. Megan Gertis, one of 3 mids on the board tonight, attempting an inward 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. Curtis with silver medals last year at the 1 meter and 3 meter board. Trying to dethrone her teammate, Hannah Montow. Curtis with an even 48 to bring her score to 134.60. Here's Serica Halstead from Army. A forward 1.5 somersault with a twist. 2.2 degree difficulty. Another look again here as she gets an even 44 on the board. Here's Montow. A 1.5 backward somersault pike. 2.3 degree difficulty. Montow, a beautiful dive again. North of 100 through 2 dives. Take another peek. Finishes her third round dive with a score of 43.70. So here's Megan Fennell. 123.75 score. Attempting a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 2.3. Another look, 34.50 the score. She's up to 158.25. Here is Caroline LaPlante of Colgate, an inward 2 somersault tuck attempt here for her 4th dive. All-American diving qualifying score in high school on this 1 meter board. Does an inward 2 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Had 126.05 coming in. And we'll boost it to 163.85 with a score of 37.80. Here is Russack. Boston U attempting a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck. 2.1 degree difficulty. Had 124.90 coming into this 4th round. Now moves it up to 170.05 with a score of 45.15. Here's Balacanta. Just watched her teammate dive. She tries a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck. 2.1 degree difficulty. 123.40 her score. Entering this round goes up to 149.65. So trailing her teammate in Russack. Here's Turner from Navy. Backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.3. At a 133.90 score. Now up to 175.30. So she is currently the leader as Megan Gertis toes the board. Gertis with a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.3. Another good looking dive by the silver medalist a year ago. Another look. Curtis at 134.60. Gets it up to 187.50 with a 52.90 score. Good dive there by Gertis. Here's Serica Halstead at 141.15. A reverse 1.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. Gets a 48 on that dive. Now moves up to 189.15. And currently in 2nd place. Trailing the leader who's on the board now, Hannah Montow. And nails a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.1. At an even 146, gets it up to 192.20 with a 46.20 mark. So through 4 rounds, Hannah Montow leading In second, Serica Halstead of Army, and Gertis in position to win bronze if she can continue. Megan Fennell's 5th round dive. A reversed 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. Getting a 54. Best dive of the night for the Mountain Hawk. Got an 8 by one of the 7 judges. So Fennell creeping up the leaderboards with that dive. Here is LaPlante. Backwards 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Waiting for the score, 40-25. She's over 200 now at 2:04.10 with her 5th dive of the night. Here's Kate Russick. Inward 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. Entering that round with the score just a tick over 170. That's a 46.80, moving it up to 216.85 for the Terrier. Now we'll watch her fellow teammate in Balacanta. An inward 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. Take another look by the Terrier, her 5th dive. Results in a 43.20. She's up to 192.85. Top 4 divers now. Here is Caroline Turner, currently in 4th place at 175.30, attempting a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.1. Another look, rotation on that somersault, getting 43.05 on that dive and moves her score up to 218.35. Here's Megan Gertis, fellow mid, in 3rd right now, 187.50 her score, attempting a reverse 1.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. Waiting the score, and she gets a 50.40, boosting it to 237.90. So currently holding off teammate Caroline Turner for bronze. Here's Serica Halstead, currently in 2nd, attempting a backwards 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.3. $189.15 her score, up to 239.75 with a 50.60 dive. So just about a 2-point lead for Halstead over Gertis between silver and bronze. Here is Montow, an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.4. Take a look again at the defending champ. Gets a 50.40 and up to 242.60. So holding a slim margin over Halstead of Army by about 3 points. Heading into the final round of dives, that was Megan Fennell of Lehigh. Mountain Hawk, a forward 1.5 somersault with a full twist, 2.2 degree difficulty. She gets 42.90, finishes with a 255.15 score. Doesn't match her school record of 274 she set for Lehigh. As Caroline LaPlante finishes her final dive, a forward 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.4. Gets a 50.40 and gets a 254.50 final. Less than a full point shy of Megan Fennell. Here's Rusak from Boston U. A forward 1.5 somersault with a full twist. 2.2 degree difficulty. Rusak awaiting her score, gets a 44 even for a 260.85. Her teammate Balacanta now on the board, attempting a backwards full somersault with 2.5 twists. Degree difficulty 2.7. Another look. Getting those 2.5 twists in, the tough part. 44.50 her score. She finishes at 237.40. So her teammate Kate Rusek surpasses her through 6 dives. Here's Caroline Turner, the mid with a forward 1.5 somersault with a twist. Degree difficulty 2.2. Take another look. 42.90 pushes her final score to 261 and change. Here's Gertis, looking to keep pace for a bronze. A forward 1.5 somersault with a full twist. And a 237.90 score coming into her final dive. Take another look. And she gets a 41.80, good for 279.70. Halstead getting a big round of applause for her Black Knight family. Halstead attempting an inward 1.5 somersault pike. Currently on pace for silver. Degree difficulty 2.4. And the crowd erupts for Serica Halstead, and there's a good look at her teammates. Take another look at her final dive. An inward 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty, gets 52.80, and a final score of 292.55. Putting the pressure on Montau. 242.60 for Montau. Will attempt an inward 2 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.8 for the gold. Let's see the final score from the 7 judges. Montau looking for a repeat in gold. Needs to be 292.55. She does not. She finishes at 290.20, and Hannah Montau will have to settle for silver. Serica Halstead, your new 1 meter gold champion, and she is embraced by her teammates. An upset here in the 1 meter. Halstead beating Montau by 2 points and some change. 292.55, 290.20 for Montau, the defending champ, knocked off by Serica Halstead of Army. What a job by the Black Knight. Army's top female diver a year ago, the lone diver to qualify for the NCAA's diving championships, and she is embraced by her coaches. As she put in a phenomenal 1 meter diving championship event here for Army. An upset on the 1 meter. Halstead gold, Montau silver, and Gertis will take home the bronze. See Halstead being embraced by everybody. And let's look at all the dives here by Serica Halstead. After 4 rounds, she was just 3 points behind Montau in striking distance. Kept that distance in round 5, made it 242 to 239, and then surpassing the defending champion by about 2.5 points in her final dive, getting her final score to 292.55, and Halstead still in a little disbelief, waving towards her friends and family, and the smile says it all. Congratulations, Serica Halstead, your new gold medalist in the 1 meter diving board. The native of New York, in her final Patriot League championship, earning a gold medal. There are your divers as we get ready for the 3-meter diving, the final diving event of the championships. Top 8 divers competing for 3 medals. It goes in reverse order, starting with Lance Carter from the Navy Academy. Had a prelim score of 262, and that was good for the 8th highest score of the day. He will be joined by a handful of mid-teammates, including Hunter Seibert, being introduced right now. Seibert, Lake Smyrna, Georgia native, gives way to Kyle Lipton, who had the 6th best score from Army. Lipton had a preliminary score of 271. 65, so he will dive 3rd in this 8-field diving competition. The lone Bucknell University representative, Garrett Summer. Can't miss him with that orange and blue parka. Summer has been very good for the Bison as well. Summer also participated in the 1 meter, finished 6th 2 nights ago here inside Lejeune Hall. Here is Kyle Lipton from Army. And Garrett Summer, as we mentioned, now Daniel Alemo being introduced from the Black Knights. Alemo had a score of 314 earlier today. And now it is Patrick Carter, the Navy product from New York, the junior ocean engineering major. Had a sister that dove for 1 year at Queens College. And Carter finished silver in the 1 meter dive on day 2. And there is a good look at Jake Hedrick, another fellow Navy diver. He will be the 2nd to last diver, earning the 2nd best score. And here is one of the best divers in Navy history, Bradley Buchter. A long introduction here as he's looking to go a perfect 8 for 8 in the Patriot League Championship diving events. Only 3 other divers in the history of the league has done that accomplishment. And here are a couple of looks from Bradley Buchter from earlier today. Just so clean on almost every dive, and he gets so much off that board. We saw him in the 1 meter board. The bottom of the diving board would splash into the water. One of the only divers to have that happen. As we take a quick look at the men's standings before we get rolling here on the 3 meter dive. Navy in control, Army in 2nd, Boston U and Bucknell flip-flopping for 4th and 5th. Meanwhile, Loyola right in the middle of the pack are the Greyhounds. Well, that is your men's standings through 37 events. Event 38 coming up here in the 3 meter dive, so all attention will be on the diving pool. Again, Bradley Buchter, your favorite, looking to become the first diver in a long time. Only 3 total to go a perfect 8 for 8 in the Patriot League Championships diving portion. So these divers will take a couple of warm-ups here. There is Summer from Bucknell. And as they warm up, we'll cool down for a minute and we'll take a quick break. The 3 meter diving finals for the men coming up on the Patriot League Network. You're watching it right here on Stadium. There's a nice shot of Wesley A. Brown Fieldhouse here in Annapolis, on the yard just down the road from where we are now. Hosted the Indoor Championships in 2019. This year's indoor meet will be at Lehigh University starting next Saturday. Sunday's finals live right here on Patriot League TV. Beautiful campus here on the Naval Academy. The building's pristine. The history with the athletics and the academics. And it's all on display here in the 2020 Patriot League Championships on the swimming and diving portion. We're getting ready here for the 3-meter dives. Top 8 dives taking place. Lance Christopher, the freshman from Navy, will begin things here in the 3-meter. He also competed in the 1-meter back on day 2. So there is Christopher. He will try a forward 3.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.8 for his first dive. Christopher from Lambertville, New Jersey, just a freshman. Served as the president of the National Honor Society in high school and was the class president as a freshman. Don't see that too often. So Christopher, as you might be able to see behind the Patriot League Championship banner, getting ready for his first dive. Again, all of these divers will complete 6 rounds of diving. And that's a good start for Lance Christopher. Panel of 7 judges to score each dive. And he gets a 39.20 here on his first dive. Now here is Hunter Siebert. Siebert from Navy as well, trying a inward 1.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty 2.1. Sophomore from Lake Smyrna, Georgia. Participated in the 1-meter as well, and have another look at that dive. Here's Kyle Lipton, a forward 2.5 somersault pike, 2.4 degree difficulty. Lipton from Army, and they have been loud all week, especially through the prelims, as Lipton earns a 44.4 score on that dive. Junior from Springfield, Virginia, with a good support system. As we move over to Garrett Summer, the Bucknell Bison, attempting a reverse 1.5 somersault pike, 2.3 degree difficulty. Native of York, Pennsylvania. And Summer's first dive complete. Scored 43 points at the Patriot League Championships in his career. Take another look here for Summer. Well, not one of his best dives, only a 29.9 score. As we move to Daniel Alamo, a backwards 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. Alamo from West Nyack, New York. 2018-19 All-Patriot League second team, and also has a League Male Diver of the Week award under his belt. As you take another look, 2.8 degree difficulty. That's one of the highest scores in round 1 at the moment at 54.6. Here's Patrick Carter for Navy. Forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree difficulty. Another peek as Carter makes it into the pool with a 52.8 score. And here is Jake Hedrick. Hedrick finished with the second highest score this morning from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. Went to Hershey High School. A junior, attempting an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.7. Another look there for Jake's dive. Gets a 62.1. Here's the favorite, Bradley Buchter. Buchter looking to go a perfect 8 for 8 in his 4-year career with the Naval Academy. From Hickory, North Carolina, an inward 2.5 somersault pike. Highest degree difficulty at an even 3. Take another look at Buchter's first dive, 76.5. So Buchter off to a good start as expected. And we head on to round number 2. Christopher on a second dive, a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. All-American in high school was Christopher as he finishes his second dive of the event. Another look. Gets a 53.2, a solid score there for Christopher, who also came in 8th place in the 1 meter preliminaries last time out on the boards. Here's Hunter Siebert, an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.7 degree difficulty. Here comes Kyle Lipton. Lipton from Army. Has been on the Patriot League academic honor roll the last 3 years. Attempts a forward 3.5 somersault tuck with a 2.8 degree difficulty. And his Black Knights teammates cheering loudly again. Finished 7th in this event last year at the Patriot League Championships, did Lipton, so looking to improve there. As we move to Garrett Summer, the Bucknell Bison looking to improve from his first dive. This one a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.8. Placed 6th in this event a year ago. Product for the Bisons. With his second dive, another look. Gets a 36.4 score. Here's Daniel Alamo. Alamo from West Nyack, New York. One of the Black Knights' top male divers during his freshman campaign a year ago. The lone diver to qualify for NCAA Zone A Diving Championships here in Annapolis. And shows why right there. Backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.8. .63 on that dive. Here's Patrick Carter with the third highest score earlier this afternoon, the Ocean Engineering major. Has earned academic honors in that major in 4 semesters here at the Academy. Completes a forward 3.5 somersault pike, highest degree of difficulty so far at 3.1. And have another look from Patrick Carter on that dive. He gets a 54.25 score. Jake Hedrick, another Navy mid. 5 of the 8 representatives here in the 3 meter Naval Academy products. This is a forward 3.5 somersault tuck. 2.8 degree difficulty. Solid looking dive there by Hedrick. Gets a score of 64.4. Here's Bradley Buchter, a 3.4 degree difficulty. An inward 3.5 somersault tuck. Highest degree of difficulty now we have seen through 2 rounds. Information technology major. His father dove while attending Pitt. Buchter's mom, a gymnast from Pitt, and take a look at that dive. 3.4 degree difficulty, and he gets a 79.9. So we move on to the 3rd round, halfway to the 6 here in the 3 meter. And it's Lance Christopher from Navy A reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Good looking dive there by Lance Christopher. 54.6. You see the tuck there by Christopher before reaching the water. Here's Hunter Siebert. Backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.8. The architecture and marine engineering major, finishing off his third dive of the competition. Another look there on a 60.2 dive turned in by Hunter Siebert. Great shots here by our crew, especially by Jess. Here's another good look and another good looking dive by Kyle Lipton of Army. It was a forward 1.5 somersault with 2 twists, a 2.5 degree difficulty. Here's Garrett Summer. 2.4 degree difficulty, forward 2.5 somersault pike. And Summer completes his third dive. Owns Bucknell's 7th best 1 meter dive and also the 3 meter, so he is one of the Bison's best. Here's Daniel Alamo. Alamo for Army. Had an illustrious high school career and has translated that here to West Point. A reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. And the cadets from West Point right on the edge of the pool, as you can see in the replay, watching their teammate earn a 63 on that dive. Here's Patrick Carter. Carter will attempt a backwards 2.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty an even 3. Second team All Patriot League accolades a year ago. And Carter finishes off his third dive. Also competed in the NCAA A-Zone Diving Championship. Earns an even 48 score on his third dive. That brings up his teammate in Jake Hedrick. Backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, a 2.8 degree difficulty. A robotics and control engineering major here at Navy puts in another good dive here in round 3. Placed second on the 1 meter last year and earned bronze in this event. And he gets a score of 67.2, getting a 9 from judge number 2. Here is Bradley Buchter, 3.1 degree difficulty with a forward 3.5 somersault pike. Fantastic rotation there by Buchter. And he gets a loud round of applause here inside Lejeune Hall. Buchter's waiting his score, and he gets a 77.5. So we head to the 4th round. Buchter leading as expected, everybody else looking up. Here's Christopher. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck, a degree difficulty of 2.7 for the midshipman. And Christopher's 4th dive in the books at a score right now at 147 on the dot. Bumped it up to 190.2 with a 43.2 score on his 4th dive of the evening. That brings up Hunter Siebert. Siebert attempting a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.8 degree difficulty. Nailed it. Take another look. 68.6 the score for Siebert. His total up to 215.2. So here's Kyle Lipton of Army. attempting an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.7. Lipton finishes his 4th dive of the night. Take another glance, gets a 52.65, his score up to 185.75. Here's Garrett Summer, trying to shake off a tough dive to start his night. Has a score of 109.5. Will attempt a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Had 15 top 3 finishes a year ago as a sophomore for the Bison. And that was a good one from Summer. One of his best here tonight. And the crowd letting him know. 58.8 for Summer. His score moves up to 168.3 through 4 dives. Here's Alemo. Alemo will attempt a forward 2.5 somersault with 1 twist. Degree of difficulty 3.0. Alemo at a score of 180.6 at the moment. Awaiting his score as you get another look. Look at that twist. 58.5, his score up to 239.10. Was it Chubby Checker who sang Do the Twist back in the 50s? Here's Patrick Carter. A reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Carter at 218.05 with a good dive with a score of 63. Here is Jake Hedrick. A score of 193.7 will attempt a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.8. And Hedrick trying to keep pace for a silver through 4 rounds. His score at 193.7 as you get another look. Earning an even 56 on his 4th dive. So we head to the final 2 rounds. But not before Bradley Buchter, the favorite, will try and attempt a backwards 2.5 somersault pike. Degree difficulty an even 3. Already has a score at 233.9. The judges looking on, as you see there, next to Army's bench. Buchter's 4th dive gives him a 67.5 score, up to 301.4 for the Navy mid. Have another look. So we go to the second to last round with Lance Christopher starting it off with a forward 2.5 somersault with a twist. One of the better looking dives for Lance Christopher here in the finals. Score of 190.20, and it's up to 244.2 with an even 54 score. Here is Hunter Siebert, a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. His score was at 215.2 through 4 dives. And he gets a 47.6 to move it up to 262.8. Kyle Lipton from West Point now on the board, attempting a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck. Has a total score of 185.75 to this point. And Lipton, the top diver for Army, continuing here. Gets a 49 even to move his score to 234.75. Here's Garrett Summer. 168.3 through 4 dives. Will attempt an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree difficulty 2.7. Summer completes his 5th dive of the competition. Majoring in chemical engineering in Bucknell. In high school, dove and also was a member of the marching band. Gets a 45.9 for Summer. So here is Daniel Alamo, a 239.1 score, attempting a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 degree difficulty. Gets a score just under 300 at 299.3 with a 60.2 mark on his 5th dive. Patrick Carter now towing the edge of the board. An inward 2.5 somersault pike, an even 3 degree difficulty. And Carter with his 5th dive at 218.05. Gets a 55.5 to give him 273.55. So Carter currently behind Daniel Alamo. Here's Jake Hedrick attempting a reverse 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twist, 2.9 degree difficulty. That's a good looking dive by Jake Hedrick of Navy. 249.7 his score, gets it up to 314.95, getting a 65.25. Here's Bradley Buchter at 301.4. A reverse 2.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty 3.0. And he just uses all of that diving board. Dad dove at Pitt, Mom was a gymnast at Pittsburgh, and the two have helped coach Bradley and his sister as he gets a 70.5 score to earn a 371.9 total heading into the final round, and has some room for error ahead of Jake Hedrick, who has a 314.95 mark. So here are the final dives for each diver. Lance Christopher will end his night with a backwards 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. Degree of difficulty 2.8. See the twisting motion there by Christopher. 47.6. He finishes with a 291.8 score. Hunter Siebert now up next. A backwards 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists, the 2.8 degree difficulty. Similar dive to his teammate and Lance Christopher. Another look at it here. Gets a 50.4, gives him a total of 313.2. Here's Kyle Lipton at 234.75, attempting a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty on that dive, 2.8. He gets a 40.6, gives him a final score of 275.35. And here is Garrett Summer. A 2.8 degree difficulty dive here on his final one of the night. A backwards 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. Summer takes his time on the edge of the board and then starts his motion. And Summer with a score of 214.2. Looking to build on that in his final dive, gets a 46.2, finishes with 260.4. Now we go to the top four of the competition. Daniel Alamo with a 299.3 score, attempting an inward 2.5 somersault pike, even 3 on the degree of difficulty chart. And a good looking dive there by Daniel Alamo from New York. Another look there for you 58.5 gives him a final score of 357.8. Right now, that is good for bronze, but there are 3 more divers to go, including Patrick Carter, attempting a forward 2.5 somersault with 1 twist. Good looking dive there by Carter. At 273.55, gets an even 66 score and finishes his night with a 339.55. So Lamo still in position for the bronze for Army. Here's Jake Hedrick, a forward 2.5 somersault with 1 full twist, degree of difficulty 3.0. And another sharp looking dive there by Hedrick, trying to put some pressure on his teammate Bradley Buchter. Finishes with a 379.45 after getting a 64.50 mark. So Bradley Buchter looking to become just the 3rd diver in Patriot League history to go a perfect 8 for 8 in both the 1 meter and 3 meter. Attempting a forward 2.5 somersault with 2 twists, degree of difficulty 3.4 to cap off a perfect career. And it's a perfect dive. The crowd gives him a loud round of applause as Buchter realizes what he has just done. A score of 85, and he runs away with the gold in the 3 meter dive with the final score of 456.9, and Buchter becomes one of the greatest divers of all time in Patriot League history. Congratulations, Bradley Buchter. And let's take a look at this in slow-mo. What a dive to cap off an incredible career of Bradley Buchter here in Annapolis. The diving squad for Navy getting handshakes all around by diving coach Rich McDonald in his 7th season, 6-time Patriot League Coach of the Year in the diving portion. And Bradley Buchter a little choked up, understanding what he just accomplished, and the diving portion completed with Bradley Buchter etching his name in the